Hey everyone, and welcome to WTF Is AbortController, this time even in 1080p. Let's first have a look at a simple application I've created for this purpose, which is just a simple blog. We have our homepage with a list of 2 different posts. The first post loads very slowly, and the content is loaded asynchronously and then displayed over here once it's done. The second post is loaded almost instantly. However, this application is written in such a way that it has a very subtle bug, which you can notice whenever you navigate to the first post and then to the second post without awaiting the result of the request for the first post. So pay attention to the post content once I've started my navigation and notice what happens. So we'll start at the homepage, navigate to the first post and quickly to the second post, which displays its content. But what's this? All of a sudden, we get to see the content of the first post. The reason being is that the promise associated with the first request for the first post is resolved after the promise for the second post. So navigating between pages does not abort any promises. You have to do that yourself. You can see that as well when opening up the DevTools on the networking page, then navigating to the first post and then going to the homepage, and you see that this request is still pending and only moments afterwards it's being resolved properly. The bug that we have been observing in this application is a combination of this behavior and the usage of a single state where we store the current post content. So let's check out the code for that and see how we can fix this. Over here, I have prepared a very simple Next.js project, and this is the file which contains the code that is responsible for this page. At the bottom, we have the page itself, nothing fancy over here. And over here, we are using a custom hook that I've written. This hook accepts an argument, specifically the ID of the post that we want to fetch. In our case, the ID that is appended here at the path, so either 1 or 2. Within the hook itself, we store the current state, or specifically the post that has been fetched already, and a flag to indicate whether we're loading or not. Within this hook, we're calling useEffect. Nothing too fancy, a pretty common pattern to toggle the loading flag, fetch the data, parse it as JSON, and then store it within our state. And finally, toggling the loading flag. In order to introduce abort capabilities to this request, we can leverage a utility from the JavaScript standard library. So we do not have to import any external package at all. First, let's create an object called AbortController, and you can already see that GitHub Copilot is suggesting to use the AbortController class itself. An object created from this class allows observers to subscribe to that object, or rather to an underlying signal, and every time you invoke the abort function on that object, all subscribed observers are notified of that. Per default, Fetch has abort capabilities. So if we head over here to the second parameter of that function call, we can pass an option object to it. One of the available options is to pass the signal of such an abort controller. And once again, you can see that GitHub Copilot is suggesting to pass the signal of this abort controller to the options object for that fetch call. Now that we've wired up this fetch call to this abort controller, we just have to fire the signal, or rather call the abort function in order to fire the signal. Since we want to fire that signal every time we navigate away from that page, we have to use the cleanup function associated with useEffect. We can do this by returning a function at the very end of it that gets invoked every time this hook gets unmounted. And unsurprisingly, GitHub Copilot once again suggests us to use the abort controller over here and just invoke the abort function. Once I've saved this, we can head over here. Let's go to the homepage and open up the networking tab once again. Finally, I will be navigating to the first post page and quickly navigating back to the home page without awaiting the result. Hopefully we will now see that our request is being aborted. So clicking here, going to home, and there we have it. We can see that our request has been cancelled. As such, when navigating between different posts, previous promises are being completely cancelled, they are not being resolved anymore, and as such, the state variable in which we store the current post over here is not being overwritten unexpectedly. So let's check this out. I'm clearing the log over here, navigating to post 1, then directly to post 2, and we can see that the first request has been cancelled and the contents of our second post haven't been overwritten with the contents of our first post. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and until then, take care.